Hello everyone, Mocha Bear here. Welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Today's episode is directed to all you DMs and GMs out there wanting to run some Halloween or horror themed stories. Shall we get started? So, it is October, Halloween is coming up very soon, and a lot of people, like myself included, love doing themed one-shots for holidays and things like that. So I decided that why not do this and help you all get a foot in the right direction, if we can say that. So the way I like to come up with the stories and like how I'm gonna plot them out is first, I like to look at what monsters or creatures or NPCs that I want to use in my story. I want something that's going to be fun and engaging and challenging, but also I want something that's a little different, something that's not the norm, like ghost, zombie, skeleton, things like banshee, things like that. We want something a little different. I went ahead and I made up a list of 6, now bear with me, 6 horror-themed monsters or creatures from 3 different books, 3 different sources that are not Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast has a lot of attention, and these other companies don't get enough attention, so I figured, let's branch out, shall we? I'm not going to go over all 6 from 3 books. I narrowed it down to 2 per book, and then 1 honorable mention per book. So it was very hard to do. I ended up rolling the dice to determine what I would do this video on. And so I figured just let fate decide, let the dice decide, and we'll go from there. And for next week's episode, I do have something special that I am going to do, but I will talk about that near the end of the video. So stick around to find out what that is. So the first 2, and then the honorable mention, are from Scoundrel Game Labs, and this is from their book Grizelda's Guide to Ghost Hunting. And if you haven't seen it yet, go over to this video here to check out Grizelda's Cursed Curiosities, because I have a little promo in there for you all as well that can get you a copy of Grizelda's Guide to Ghost Hunting for free. So check that out at the end of this video. Link to this video will be in the description box down below as well. And before I hop over to the first creature, just a warning, those of you who have a fear of dolls or dummies, things like that, you can go ahead and skip past that. Timestamp is right here telling you where you can jump to avoid that, because I know that people do have a fear of dummies and puppets, things like that. So give you a few seconds to click to go ahead and to the next timestamp to go past it if you want. Alright, so first up, the Haunted Ventriloquist Dummy. Malevolent specters frequently haunt dolls, puppets, and dummies, taking advantage of the fear mortals often have towards such lifelike but inanimate objects. The ventriloquist dummy lends itself particularly to such haunting, as its unblinking eyes and perceived ability to speak make an unnerving combination. Hide in plain sight. Haunted ventriloquist dummies use deceitful and sadistic methods to blend in and kill as many innocents as they can. One of their favorite methods is revealing their ability to speak to a child by swearing them to secrecy. When the child takes the dummy home, it slaughters everyone in the home and repeats the process. So kind of like Chucky from Child's Play. Stolen voices. The haunted ventriloquist dummy has 2 dangerous powers used to hide itself and trick its enemies. First is its ability to blend in with other dolls or toys, a key part in its strategy when hunting. The second is its ability to steal voices from its enemies. The dummy can read the thoughts of those it steals voices from, allowing them to quickly gather information they can use in their hunt. This is something that I would love to use on my players. Unfortunately, one of them, he does have a fear of dolls and dummies like that. So just like how one of my other players, she has arachnophobia. Because I can't remember the name for the fear of dolls and inanimate objects. Even though in one of my videos, it's in there. It was a Kickstarter project for fear cards and their effects and whatnot. That's in there. So the word for that is at the bottom of the screen here. but I would love to one day be able to use one of these. Alright, so they are a tiny construct, typically lawful evil, with an AC of 14, 21 hit points, and a speed of 25. They have a strength of 12, dexterity 16, constitution 12, intelligence 12, wisdom 14, and charisma 15. Their skills are perception +4, performance +4, and stealth +7. Very dangerous, especially for such a low level challenge rating, which you can see right now, but I'll get to that. Damage vulnerabilities: fire and slashing, damage resistance, cold and piercing, damage immunities, necrotic, poison, condition immunities: charmed, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned. Senses: blind sight 30 feet with a passive perception of 14. The languages is common, plus all the languages spoken by creatures within 30 feet of it. Dangerous. Challenge rating: half. It's a half challenge rating. It's proficiency bonus +2. So you've got false appearance. If the dummy is motionless at the start of combat, it has advantage on its initiative roll. Moreover, if a creature hasn't observed the dummy move or act, it is indistinguishable from a normal toy or puppet. Stealthy killer. The dummy has advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in the combat yet. Perception checks to hear the dummy's movements are made at disadvantage. Ventriloquism. When the dummy speaks or makes other vocal noises, it can cause those sounds to emanate from another space of its choice within 30 feet of it rather than from itself. Oh, that's awesome. Actions. Multi-attack. The dummy makes one concealed dagger attack and one strangling hands attack. So that's concealed dagger is melee or ranged weapon attack +5 to hit. Reach is 5 feet or range of 20 to 60 feet. So 20 normal up to 60 feet with disadvantage. One target hit is 5 or 1d4 +3 piercing damage. If the target was within 5 feet, the dummy has advantage on the next attack it makes against the same target before the end of the turn. So pretty much if it's going to attack somebody melee-wise, then it'll have advantage against it on the next attack, which would be strangling hands. Melee weapon attack, +5 to hit, reaches 5 feet. Hit 5 or 1d4 +3 bludgeoning damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 13 strength saving throw or fall prone and become grappled by the dummy. Escape is DC 13. The dummy can have only one creature grappled in this way at a time, and while a creature is grappled, the dummy can't make melee attacks except strangling hands attacks against the grappled target. While grappled by the dummy, a creature can't speak or breathe and takes 3 or 1d6 bludgeoning damage at the end of each of its turns. Holy hell. And it even has a reaction. Stolen voice. When a creature the dummy can see within 30 feet of it speaks, the dummy can force it to attempt a DC 13 wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature can't speak or cast spells with the verbal components until the next sunrise. This effect ends early if the dummy is destroyed, or if the dummy uses this, they have this in there twice, ability to another creature, or on another creature. Unless the effect ends, the dummy can perfectly mimic the voice of the affected creature, and it can read the affected creature's surface thoughts as if with a detect thought spell. That is absolutely dangerous. For a challenge rating half, a half challenge rating. I love it. Absolutely love it. Next up, we have the Carrier. A Carrier is a vengeful ghost that targets false mediums, phony priests, or those who falsely claim to commune with the dead. Frequently appearing at hoax seances to attack the participants, the Carrier turns the fantasies created by the false medium into terrifying and deadly realities. The Carrier often appears either as the ghostly form of a person the medium is feigning to attempt to contact, someone the medium knew in life, or a famous person from history that the medium would know. Once the Carrier appears, it slaughters the medium first, then locks the doors and windows within the room to trap everyone else within. After they have been trapped, the dreadful apparition takes the form of the helpless seance attendees' fallen loved ones and drains the life force from them one by one, tormenting minds. In addition to its very presence turning someone's blood cold, the Carrier has many ways to torment and kill its victims beyond simply taking the form of a fallen loved one. It sends the voices of deceased family into the minds of its victims using its telepathy, drifts through walls and covers its victims with thick ectoplasm, and worst of all, drinks the life of those who fear it. While not as powerful as other ghosts, the carrier makes up for its lack of power with its cruelty and malice. Carrier, medium undead, typically lawful neutral. Armor class is 13, hit points 38, 0 speed, but fly 50 feet with hover. So its strength is 1, dexterity 13, constitution 12, intelligence 13, wisdom 16, charisma 14. I don't remember of many creatures for D&D having a strength 1 that I've seen. If you know of any other creatures that have a strength 1 for 5th edition, comment down below what that one is. I'll have to take a look at that. But skills is insight +5, damage resistances, acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder, then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. Then damage immunities is necrotic and poison. Condition immunities, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, and unconscious. Senses, dark vision of 60 feet and passive perception 13. Languages, understands all languages it knew in life but can only speak via limited telepathy, which is C below, so it's down here in its abilities. Challenge rating 2, and then a proficiency bonus of +2. Aura of fear. Any beast or humanoid that starts its turn within 10 feet of the carrier, while it is visible, must attempt a DC 12 wisdom saving throw. On a failure until the end of the creature's next turn, it is frightened and has disadvantage on charisma checks. Creatures that have rolled a charisma deception check within the past minute have disadvantage on the saving throw. Ooh, okay. Consume life. If the carrier deals damage to a creature that is frightened or has rolled a charisma deception check within the past minute, after the damage is dealt, the carrier can force the target to roll a DC 11 wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature drops to 0 hit points. And this is a challenge rating 2 creature. I mean, granted, that's why the wisdom save is an 11, but a lot of characters, depending, but if they're like a strength-based character, they tend to not have a wisdom, especially typical barbarians. So that's very dangerous for them. Incorporeal movement. The carrier can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. Takes 5 or 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. Limited telepathy. The carrier can magically transmit simple messages and images to any creature within 120 feet of it that can understand a language. This form of telepathy doesn't allow the receiving creature to telepathically respond. Actions. Multi-attack. The carrier makes 2 ectoplasmic touch attacks. Ectoplasmic touch. Melee spell attack. +5 to hit, 5 feet, 1 target. The hit is 10 or 2d6 +3 psychic damage, and the target is covered in a slimy residue that reduces its speed by 10 feet until the end of its next turn. So if it gets hit twice, then its speed is dropped by 20. So if you're one of the smaller races that still have a speed of 25, you're only going to be able to move 5 feet. Oh man, and if you're in difficult terrain, you can't move at all. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. Bonus actions. Innate invisibility. The carrier goes from being invisible to being visible or vice versa. So it's a bonus action. That is very dangerous. Very dangerous. I love that a lot. And as for the honorable mention, I won't go into detail. I won't read anything about it. I'll just give you its name. Just that way this video can get going, because this is going to be kind of a lengthy video. So sorry about that. But the honorable mention is the Scarecrow Colossus. Look at that thing. That is insane. I mean, look at the person down there at their feet. That is massive. On to the next, which is going to be from Dren Productions games, Architects of the Deep, Book of Zombies. And that is the Ankle Biter. Sometimes they just don't die. The Ankle Biter is a special name given to an undead creature that has at one point lost its legs and crawls on the ground using its arms. Usually these zombies are paler than most, with bloodied hands, and more often than not, bloated entrails sliding along the ground with them. This book was wonderful to find and back. I backed this on Kickstarter. Dren Productions games, I have backed a lot of their stuff, a lot of their Architects of the Deep. In fact, earlier in the video how I mentioned that there was something for next week's video that was going to be special that I would announce at the end of the video. Well, this is the announcement. So those who just skip to the end are going to now have to come back here and watch if they want to find out or wait. But this book, Book of Zombies, has a class option in it, a new class option. And so next week's video is going to be on that class option, which is perfect for Halloween themed stories for your players. So all you DMs and GMs out there definitely want to check out next week's video to see if you would like to have one of your players try it out. Maybe you want to incorporate it as an NPC into your games as for your players to meet and work with. Maybe it's something that you might want to try out yourself as a player in another group. Look forward to that for next week. Again, that is going to be from this book, Architects of the Deep, Book of Zombies by Dren Production Games. Alright, so Ankle Biter, medium undead unaligned, AC of 11, hit points 18, speed is a 15-foot crawl. Its strength is a 9, dexterity is a 10, constitution's a 12, intelligence is a 6, wisdom 10, and charisma 8. Saving throws, dexterity +2, constitution +3. Damage immunities, poison. Condition immunities, exhaustion, and poison, and prone. Which is interesting because it's crawling around on its hands, but it's immune to the prone condition. Senses is passive perception 11. Languages, understands common but can't speak. Challenge rating 1. So it's a little more dangerous than standard zombie. Proficiency bonus +2. Undead fortitude. So if damage reduces the ankle biter to 0 hit points, it must make a con save throw with a DC of 5 plus the damage taken. So pretty much the same thing that all zombies have for 5e. Well, most. Undead annoyance. The ankle biter has advantage on attacks against creatures it is latched onto. Actions. Grasping hands. The ankle biter grabs at an enemy within 5 feet of them, attempting to latch onto them and slow them down. I was going to say show them down. The ankle biter must make a dexterity check against a contested strength roll by the target it chooses. If the ankle biter's dexterity check is greater than the strength check, the ankle biter grapples the target. When grappled this way, the target moves at half speed unless it rolls again to shake the ankle biter off. Bite. Melee weapon attack +3 to hit, reach 5 feet. One target hit is 9 or 2d6 +3 piercing damage. Now I have used these before on my old online group and it was very entertaining. I was rolling very bad that day. I could not grasping hands them. I think I got one person. So I had 1 out of 15 succeed. All of their attempts failed, so I mostly stuck with bite after that. It gave my players a run for their money. So, next up is the Dwarf King Zombie. The zombie curse has found its way into the dark recesses of the world, and the dwarves have become infected. Their great king, once a mighty ally, has turned into one of these foul, dark beasts with only one thing on his mind: blood. His command of his armies is still resolute, and he will make them fight until the very last undead dies. Dwarf King Zombie, medium undead, neutral evil. AC 16, wearing half plate and a shield. HP is 127, speed is 25 feet. Strength 21, dexterity 8, constitution 19, intelligence 9, wisdom 10, charisma 5. Saving throws, strength +8, con +7. Skills, intimidations +0, perception is +3. Damage immunities, poison. Condition immunities, charmed, frightened, poisoned. Senses, dark vision 60 feet, and passive perception 13. Languages, understands common and dwarvish but can't speak. Challenge rating 7. Limited telepathy. The Dwarf King Zombie can magically communicate simple ideas, emotions, and images telepathically with any creatures within 60 feet of it. Magic weapon. The Dwarf King Zombie's weapon attacks are magical. Rally zombies once a day. For 1 minute, as a bonus action, the Dwarf King Zombie can telepathically command up to 3 zombie creatures that it can see within 30 feet of it. The Dwarf King Zombie can command each zombie to either make one attack or move to a space the Dwarf King Zombie can see up to the zombie's full movement. Turn immunity. Dwarf King Zombie, as well as any dwarven zombie within 10 feet of it, is immune to effects that turn undead. Clerics are in trouble with that. Undead Fortitude. If damage reduces the Dwarf King Zombie to 0 hit points, it must make a con save. So pretty much like almost all zombies. Then Undead Wrath. The Dwarf King Zombie marks a creature it can see within 30 feet of it with the Wrath of the Dead for 1 minute. While marked, the Dwarf King Zombie deals an additional 13 or 3d8 necrotic damage on one attack against the marked target during its turn. If the target drops to 0 hit points before the effect ends, it can use a bonus action on its subsequent turn to mark a new creature. Oh man, I love using zombies, I love using ghosts, but I love using just things that are different. Like, it's a zombie, yes, and you can flavor zombies to be any race really. However, a Dwarf King Zombie with stats like this is what I love, having things that are different and unique. And then as for the honorable mention by Dren Production Games, we have their Alpha Bane. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. That is a zombie werewolf. I have used it against some of my online players in a one-shot. Fun and dangerous. Absolutely loved it. Dren Production Games, whoever came up with this idea, chef's kiss. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Absolutely loved it. But the next thing I'm going to show you is from Kobold Press, their Tome of Beasts 1, their first Tome of Beasts. There are now 3 of those, so we're in the first book. I don't have the PDF of Tome of Beasts 1, and the only PDF I can gain access to, it's like this big on the screen. And also, I wasn't going to use my overhead cameras to show you the page from the book, because that's just going to be difficult to manipulate and show you properly like I'm doing here with these. So what I did was, I already have it on Roll20. So I just opened up Roll20, went to the compendium, and brought it up that way. Or brought them up that way. Allow me to show you the first creature. The Corpse Mound. Most of my players, and if you've been following me long enough on here, you know that I love using undead creatures for stories. I just love it. The Corpse Mound, the reeking pile of bodies and bones as large as a giant lurches forward. Corpses that tumble off it rise moments later as undead and follow the determined hill of corruption. Oh. Rise from mass graves. In time of plague and war, hundreds of bodies are dumped into mass graves. Without sanctifying rites, necromantic magic can seep into the mound of bodies and animate them as a massive horror hungering for others to join its form. Absorb bodies. A corpse mound is driven to kill by the anger and loneliness of the dead within, and to absorb the bodies of its victims. It attacks any living creature larger than a dog, but it is drawn to humans and humanoids. It never tires, no matter how many victims it accumulates. Entire towns have been wiped out by advancing corpse mounds. Undead nature. A corpse mound does not require air, food, drink, or sleep. Corpse mound. Huge undead neutral evil. AC 16. Hit points 207. Speed 30 feet. Strength 24. Dexterity 11. Constitution 21. Intelligence 8. Wisdom 10. Charisma 8. So its intelligence and charisma are negative. Dex and wisdom are at 0, but it's beefy, that constitution. Saving throws, constitution is +9, intelligence is +3, and wisdom is +4. So even though its intelligence is a -1 and its wisdom is a +0, it has positive saving throws. Damage resistance, necrotic, damage immunities, poison, condition immunities, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, and poisoned. Senses, dark vision 60 feet, passive perception of 10. Languages, understands common but can't speak. Challenge 11. Absorb the dead. Whenever a small or larger non-undead creature dies within 20 feet of the corpse mound, that creature's remains join its form and the corpse mound regains 10 hit points. Oh, that's dangerous to throw at your players in a village, in a town, any populated space where there's just commoners and regular guards. Ooh, do it. Noxious Aura. Creatures that are within 20 feet of the corpse mound at the end of its turn must succeed on a DC 17 con save or become poisoned until the end of their next turn. On a successful save throw, the creature is immune to the Noxious Aura for 24 hours. Zombie Drop. At the start of the corpse mound's turn during combat, one corpse falls from the mound onto the ground and immediately rises as a zombie under its control. Up to 10 such zombies can be active at the same time. Zombies take their turns immediately after the corpse mound's turn. 10! It can get 10 little minions. And that's not including any other undead you may have there. Ooh, boy. This is something that you throw at like a level 12 or 13 group. At the very least. It's a challenge rating 11, but those traits alone are dangerous. And here come the actions. So, we've got multi-attack. The corpse mound makes 2 weapon attacks or uses Envelop once. Slam, melee weapon attack, plus 11 to hit. Reaches 5 feet, 1 target. Hit, 2d10 plus 7 bludgeoning damage, plus 3d6 necrotic damage. The bludgeoning damage can be replaced with piercing or slashing. On hit, the target is grappled. Escape is a DC 17. Until this grapple ends, the target is restrained. Then we've got Bone Shard. Ranged weapon attack. Plus 11 to hit. Reaches 30 feet or up to 120 feet with disadvantage. 1 target. Hit is 2d6 plus 7 piercing damage. Plus 3d6 necrotic damage. When hit, the target must make a successful DC 17 strength check or be knocked prone, pinned to the ground by the shard, and restrained. To end this restraint, the target or a creature adjacent to it must use an action to make a successful DC 17 strength athletics check to remove the shard. 17. Envelop. The corpse mound makes a slam attack against a restrained creature. If the attack hits, the target takes damage as normal, is pulled 5 feet into the corpse mound space, and is enveloped, which ends any grappled or prone condition. While enveloped, the creature is blinded and restrained. It has total cover against attacks and other effects outside the corpse mound. That means Fireball will not hurt any of your players that are trapped inside. But an enveloped creature can escape by using its action to make a successful DC 17 strength save. If the corpse mound takes 30 or more damage on a single turn from the enveloped creatures, it must succeed on a DC 17 con save at the end of that turn or expel the creature, which falls prone in a space within 10 feet of the corpse mound. If the corpse mound dies, an enveloped creature is no longer restrained by it and can escape by using 10 feet of movement, exiting prone. A corpse mound can envelop up to 4 creatures at once. 4! Oh. So if you have a table like me of 4 players, they best hope that at least one person is able to escape or succeed on the save. Oh boy. I love it. I love it. It's creepy. Speaking of creepy, the Grim Jester. A skeletal cadaver bedecked in the motley attire of a fool capers about while making jokes that mock mortality. I love this so much. The art piece is beautiful. Oh, amusing death. When a jester on his deathbed moves an evil death god to laughter, the fool sometimes gains a reprieve, becoming a grim jester, whose pranks serve to entertain the god of death. Their purpose is to bring an end to mortal lives in a gruesome, comic, and absurd manner. As long as such jesters keep the death god amused, their continued unlife is assured. And I have a character from a Ravnica campaign that I played a session in that most likely, guaranteed, would become a grim jester if he died, because he is a nightmare clown. Anyway, grisly humor. A grim jester's jokes are not funny to their victims, but they offer a grim finality in combat. A killing joke might be absurd, such as, "Here is your final pineapple soul, a parting gift, goodbye." Or sheer grabbadocia, such as, "Your footwork is atrocious, and your spells lost its focus. Your party's no match for my hocus pocus." Others might be high-flown, such as, "Mortal, your time has come. The bell within your skull does ring ding dong. Dead." Grim jesters are famous for grim, bitter mockery, such as, "Your blood on fire, your heart pumps its last. Show me now a hero's last gasp." Or, "Odin's raven has come for you. The Valkyries were busy. You lose, mortal." A grim jester's mockery rarely entertain the living, but gods of death, chained angels, and demons find them quite amusing. Randomness. Grim jesters often get their hands on wands of wonder and scrolls of chaos magic. Beware the grim jester with a deck of many things. They are quite talented in pulling cards whose magic then applies to foes and spectators. Undead nature. The grim jester doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. And then we move on down here. Attributes. Grim jester, medium undead, chaotic, evil. Armor class 18. Hit points 136. Speed of 30 feet. Strength is 14, Dex 22, Constitution 18, Intelligence 16, Wisdom 16, and Charisma 20. Saving throws, Dex plus 10, Con plus 8, Charisma plus 9. Skills, Acrobatics plus 10, Deception plus 9, Perception plus 7, Performance plus 9, Sleight of Hand plus 10, Stealth plus 10. Dangerous! Damage resistance, cold. Damage immunities, necrotic, poison, and then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. Condition immunities, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, and poisoned. Senses are dark vision 60 feet and passive perception 17. Languages, abyssal, celestial, common, gnomish, and then telepathy 60 feet. Challenge rating 11. Innate spellcasting. The Jester's spellcasting ability is Charisma. Spell save DC 17, plus 9 to hit with spell attacks. It can innately cast the following spells requiring no components. So, we have At Will, Disguise Self, Grease, Inflict Wounds, Magic Mouth, and Misty Step. Then 3 times a day each, you have Contagion, Mirror Image, and then once a day each, Delayed Blast Fireball, Finger of Death, Mislead, and Seeming. Then we have Last Laugh. Unless it is destroyed in a manner amusing to the god of death that created it, the Grim Jester is brought back after 1d20 days in a place of the god's choosing. DMs, GMs, storytellers, whatever. That is a very dangerous and phenomenal trait to have for one of these creatures. Absolutely have to utilize that. Mock the Dying. Death saving throws made within 60 feet of the Jester have disadvantage. Turn Resistance. The Jester has advantage on saving throws against any effect that turns undead. Again, aimed against clerics. I love it when these medium to high level undead creatures have abilities focused against clerics, things that are typically very useful against their kind. I love it. Actions. Joker's Shuffle recharges on a 6. And those who don't know what that means, because we might have a lot of new DMs or people who are wanting to be DMs. Whenever you see an ability that says recharge on a 6 or 5 through 6 or 4 through 6 or recharge at any number, that means at the start of its turn, you roll a d6 and you need to roll a 6, so in this case a 6, in order to recharge this action, this ability. Otherwise, you can't use it. Which is interesting that It has only 2 actions, and both of them require a recharge of a 6. So definitely need to consider throwing in some little minions around to help protect it. Joker's Shuffle. The Jester forces one medium or small humanoid within 60 feet to make a DC 17 Charisma save. If the save fails, the Jester and the target exchange locations via teleportation, and an illusion causes them to swap appearance. The Jester looks and sounds like the target, and the target looks and sounds like the Jester. The illusion lasts for 1 hour unless it is dismissed earlier by the Jester as a bonus action or dispelled DC 17. Dangerous. Now, you have to be able to make sure that your players do not metagame. Killing Joke. Again, recharge 6. The Jester performs an ancient, nihilistic joke of necromantic power. This joke has no effect on undead or constructs. All other creatures within 60 feet of the Jester must make a DC 17 Wisdom save. Those that fail fall prone in a fit of deadly laughter. The laughter lasts for 1d4 rounds, during which time the victim is incapacitated and unable to stand up from prone. At the end of its turn each round, an incapacitated victim must make a successful DC 17 con save or be reduced to 0 hit points. Oh! The laughter can be ended early by rendering the victim unconscious or with greater restoration or comparable magic. So now you see why it's got a recharge of 6, because that's dangerous. It drops them to 0, and then because it has the Mock of the Dying trait, saving throws, death saves are done at disadvantage. Whoa. Reactions. Ridicule Hope. Recharge 4 through 6, so you need a 4, 5, or 6. When a spell that restores hit points is cast within 60 feet of the Jester can cause that spell to inflict damage instead of curing it. The damage equals the hit points the spell would have cured. Very, very dangerous. Again, it's challenge rating 11, right? Challenge rating 11? Yeah. You have to use this against a high level party. Not too high. I'd throw it against a party that's anywhere between 12 and 15. 15 maximum. But you also, like I said, need to make sure that you have little minions running around to help protect it and distract your players. Maybe even come up with a lair for the Jester to where the lair can save the Jester, and like the lair has illusion effects. It has teleportation effects. The Jester could vanish, become invisible, teleport somewhere, or could literally just meld into a wall to come out somewhere else, or smoke bombs, or areas where it's just smoke appears to give the Jester a way to escape. Requires some tinkering with to do that, but it's just an idea. Again, do with this what you want. These are just the ideas that are coming to my head as I'm speaking right now. And then for the last honorable mention, we have the Demon Lord Alquam, Master of Night. He is a massive, massive creature. Not massive, but he's a big creature. And it's an owl. Demon Lord. Look at that thing. I love it. Love it. There's so much that I want to go over. There were so many others that I wanted to do honorable mentions of. There were other books I wanted to go through that had creatures, NPCs, monsters, etc. that are perfect for Halloween / autumn / horror themed campaigns or one-shots. And like I said, these are all from third-party companies. They're not Wizards of the Coast. There are so many third-party books I have that I would love to go through. I mean, for example, Dungeon Dudes, Dungeons of Drakenheim, has a lot of creatures in it that would be perfect for horror-themed, Halloween-themed. There's so many homebrew things I've seen that I've actually used. So it was very difficult to come up with this list. And if you have used any of these before, or you want to use them or plan on using them for a campaign, or even better, a Halloween one-shot, comment down below letting me know that you're going to do that. And then when you run it, again, come back, comment down below, or reach out to my Instagram. I'm easily accessible there. And And that's all, of course, in the description box down below. Let me know how it went. I want to know how these fared for you, what you thought about them, how you used them. If you have a question about the 3 honorable mentions I have and want to know about their stats and abilities, comment down below saying that you're interested and I can reach out to you and we can talk about it. Or if enough of you do it, I can do a very brief video for them, the same way I did this, where I just throw up their pictures and just read off the stuff for you. These are awesome. Highly recommend checking them out. I think they're a fun thing to throw at your players, depending on what level they're at, of course. You might need to save them for a later campaign. But if your players are stronger, throw in more. Or tweak these stats yourself. Make them, like, buff them up. Figured I would do something like this since it is spooky season, spoopy season, whichever you prefer. I know a lot of people want to do Halloween one-shots, so this is here for you all. And those of you who skipped to the end of the video to find out about next week's video and what it's going to be about, you missed it. You have to go back into the video and watch it all if you want to find out, because I talked about it in the middle of the video. Gotcha. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Please, if you are enjoying this content, if you look forward to more content like this, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification if you haven't already. But like I said, likes and comments are very important because they show that my videos are being interacted with, and that gets them put out more as recommended videos for people to check out. So please continue to like and share my videos and comment on my videos, and just help me grow. I am so thankful to all of you who have been following me for a while. Brand new followers, welcome. I thank you for the subscriptions. Those who have been commenting on my videos and watching them and liking them, again, thank you so much. My channel has grown because of people like you all. I am forever grateful. It has gotten me to a place where I have been able to interact and speak with people from third-party companies, where I've actually been able to do some videos collaborating with them in a way. So thank you again so much for all of that. Go ahead and end it there. So please take care of yourselves as always. And until next time, hobby on.